what I'm saying? Yeah. The fanatic. Where we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina. Upstate, A64. Yeah. The FANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what.
Welcome into the Fanatic Sports Channel for sports fans by sports fans. It's your boy Coach I. All right, man, we in here for a Texas A&M season preview, man. We got Wyatt Spivey here, contributor to Sidelines Sports Texas A&M Twitter account. Wyatt, tell them a little bit about yourself, man. I guess why you're a Texas A&M fan and how they can find you on social media.
Hey y'all, I'm Wyatt. I'm going to be headed into my junior year at Texas A&M. I'm a nuclear engineering major, and I've been born and raised an Aggie. My dad's an Aggie, and I went to my first A&M football game in 2007, 2009, somewhere in there, and I've loved it ever since.
That's what's up, man. Nuclear engineering, man, you could be changing the world, man.
Hey, that's what it's all about.
That's right, man. We'll go ahead and jump in and start talking about those Aggies, man.
All right.
What's your gut feeling about this season, just overall in general?
Hey, I'm feeling really good. I feel like we improved at the majority of the positions. Probably the only positions we took a step back at, probably running back and tight end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lost some big ones there. It's going to be hard to replace. Not that they can't be good, but it's hard to replace Isaiah Spiller and the guys you guys had at tight end.
Weidemeyer.
For the Mackey Award. So.
Oh yeah, man. But overall, I feel like our defense improved.
Okay.
We do have a pretty big question mark at defensive line, but we've got the talent there. And I'm hearing nothing but good things out of fall camp in that regard. And so we're very thin at linebacker. We've been very thin at linebacker for the past, 20 years.
Yeah.
But you know, if we can stay healthy there, I like how our defense is going to shape up.
Okay. Well, we kind of touched on some of the losses you guys had with the tight end and the running back. What about? I know Haynes King was originally supposed to be the full starter last year, but injuries got the best of him, and then you guys had Zach Calzada. Now he's off and on to
Auburn.
Auburn, that is right, Auburn. You got Haynes King back, and then you got who else you got there at quarterback?
We got Max Johnson.
That's him, Max Johnson from LSU last year. That's right.
Yeah.
So, how you feeling about the quarterback position? You thinking Haynes King gonna win it out, or you think
my gut is leaning towards Max Johnson.
Okay.
Now that really doesn't have much to do with how the practices are going. I was at the spring game, which was absolutely atrocious for all the quarterbacks involved, but and the wind was pretty bad, like Jimbo said. But I mean, you still want to have some good quarterback play there in spite of the elements. But that notwithstanding, I do think Max Johnson is the more polished player. And Jimbo's probably going to want to go with the guy that gives you the best opportunity to win this season.
Yeah.
And so Max Johnson obviously has a full season under his belt. He played behind a worse offensive line last year and with worse weapons than he will have this year.
Okay.
And he still threw 35 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. It was.
I think Max is a good, like you said, he has a lot of experience under his belt. And in this day and age, that could mean a transfer for Haynes King if
I know. Season, and you hate to see it, but it's just the way of the world now. And and you know, we do have a very talented Connor Wegman behind him.
Yeah.
And So and we'll see with how this quarterback recruiting class goes with all the smoke surrounding Malachi Nelson. See
know. Well, what I read earlier today was that his visit went well, and there's real, feelings there, not just, hey, we're going to do it for social media type deal, but real like, hey, I'm interested in A&M too. So
yeah. Well, with Malachi Nelson, I know we're diverting a little bit here, but he committed to Oklahoma early, like super early, freshman, sophomore year in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then he obviously flipped to SC whenever Lincoln Riley did.
Yeah.
And so he never really got that sort of recruiting experience that most kids have.
That is right on.
Yeah,
and
so
that changes a lot of kids' minds too.
For sure. And if everything that I've heard about Coach Price's barbecue is accurate, that could be enough to change a guy's mind. But seriously, I gun to my head today, I don't think he picks us, but
okay.
I have heard some good things,
Hey,
trending wise.
In the recruiting world, all you need is a chance, man, and
Yes.
nothing is final until you get the facts in on signing day. So
yes, for sure.
What about that defensive side of the ball? Any losses there that you're worried about?
Oh yeah. Oh, what's DeMarvin Leal? He Michael Clemens. Man, Michael Clemens he went undrafted to the Jets. I know he's on the Jets. I can't remember if he was drafted or undrafted, but he's going to be a pretty good contributor for them this year, and for good reason, because he was a huge staple of our defense, even though he didn't quite get all the accolades.
Yeah,
he was certainly a good piece back there. And like I said, we're already pretty thin at linebacker.
Yeah.
So
you guys are recruiting well, though. Now this class coming in, I think I know you guys had a absolute monster of a recruiting class. Normally, 1 to 3 of those guys may be contributors, early on, because they still have to come in and learn the system. So
right.
Who knows? Maybe you get some help there from one of those guys.
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, I think I don't remember who all we got at linebacker, but our big gets were on the defensive line.
Yeah,
and
5 of them. I mean,
so
4 of them.
that'll help with DJ Durkin coming in. I think we're going to see a lot more aggressive-ness on the defensive side.
He had good defenses when he was at Maryland, so I think that'll definitely help. So let's talk a little bit about the season, man. Last season, you guys are 8-4.
Yes.
All 4 losses coming to SEC West schools, which you definitely don't want on a regular basis. You lost versus Arkansas, versus Mississippi State, at Ole Miss, and at LSU. You didn't get to play the bowl game because of COVID. I think you guys were slated to play Wake Forest, if I'm not mistaken.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, but COVID protocols kept that from happening. What is needed this year to get over that 8-4 hump? Because I looked up a stat, and I didn't even know this. 23 of the last 26 seasons, Texas A&M has lost 4 games or more.
Yeah, that is it's a pretty big hump. And obviously we've had 4 coaches since then.
Yep.
Yeah.
And all are on the verge. You know what I'm saying? Like you had Manziel on the verge.
For
last
sure.
year you guys beat Alabama on the verge. You know what I mean? It's like I'm just like this year. I'm looking at the schedule. You start out. It is actually, let's see. Last year you guys started out. You had a good little Kent State, Colorado, New Mexico,
a little warm up game.
Warm up games. Yeah, you don't want to overlook anybody, but this year it's Sam Houston, and then App State comes to town.
Yes,
and App State loves to go into stadiums and play bigger opponents, closer than they probably.
They definitely
should.
Play up to their opponent. Yeah,
always.
And that's for sure. The one and I think a lot of other people have circled is that Miami game.
Yeah.
Frankly, I don't think that's going to be as close of a game as a lot of people think it's going to be.
Yeah.
That could be the maroon sunglasses talking, but games are won at the line of scrimmage, and
True.
I love that Mario Cristobal hire. I think he's going to do well for them.
Yep.
He recruits extremely well, especially down there in Florida, and so maybe he'll be able to get them to shut down the state here in the next 5-6 years. But
yeah,
he's just not there yet, and you can't be winning games against SEC opponents with 275-pound guys at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. Hey, you are totally right. Like the line of scrimmage, and I think a lot of people outside the SEC don't understand that's what the difference is if you have to play somebody, especially coming into Kyle Field. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think it could go like you just said. I think it could be. It's a night game at Kyle Field. It's not a good environment for Miami to go into, third game of the season, especially with a new system. Cristobal has been a coach before, but the Miami guys haven't played for him. I think because you guys are definitely going to focus on the Miami game. That's why I think the App State game could be closer than.
Yeah, it could be a trap game.
Yeah, like
sure.
I don't think you guys will lose, but I think it could be closer than it actually needs to be. Having people talking because you're focused so much on Miami. You follow that up though. You got a hard 3-game stretch right before the All-Star. You got Arkansas, Mississippi State, and Bama. So all three of those teams.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean that 4-game stretch after our first 3 games. We spend a month away from Kyle Field.
Oh, that's right, because you travel to Columbia, South Carolina to take on Shane Beamer and the boys.
Yeah, and obviously you can never you can't ever write down the Alabama game as a gimme. So that's certainly going to be a major test for us. But that Arkansas game, so we're going to see how the quarterback is, because regardless of who wins the job, King or Johnson, we're going to be breaking in pretty much a brand new A&M quarterback, because Haynes King played the whole Kent State game and then like 2 series before he snapped his ankle in the Colorado game.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hesitant to make a total prediction, but I do think with Arkansas losing, 8 defensive starters last year?
They lost a lot.
And
they lost Treylon Burks on offense.
Right. Yeah. I think we the majority of our problems in that game was our offensive line wasn't a unit yet. They hadn't played enough games together to get real tight. And Zach Calzada was just
not
pissing down his leg. God bless him. He just, you could see every time the camera panned over to him, his eyes were just huge.
Yeah.
So,
the moment was too big.
Yeah. And so I think our offensive line is going to be better than it was in that game.
Okay.
And I think if we can have average to above average quarterback play, I think we should be able to win that game.
Yeah. The Sam Pittman's offensive line will definitely be good, so you'll need some of those defensive line guys to definitely show up. They do replace Treylon with hopefully a healthy Jaden Hazelwood, who was really a good player. He just has not been healthy his first 2 years. So that game is on neutral ground at Arlington Stadium.
I hate it. I hate that. That's a conversation for another day. But
how far is that drive from College Station to Arlington?
I think probably 2.5, 3 hours. It's
okay. Not that bad.
Not too bad. And we have a lot of fans up here in the DFW area.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, we travel well anyway, but so do Arkansas fans. That's always just a weird game, man. It doesn't matter how good one of us is.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's that I don't know, Arkansas. I think Arkansas just kind of takes the Texas schools as a rival anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, they
University of Texas,
yeah.
Texas A&M. You know, I think they just take it as a rival either way.
Yeah, for sure.
So you got Arkansas, Mississippi State. Mississippi State will always be a challenge as far as stopping them from scoring because they run that high power.
Yeah, that Mike Leach offense, man.
It's just that Mike Leach runs into situations where he doesn't have as many athletes, as the other team. So I think that's where you guys have the advantage there. And of course, the game that'll be talked about until you play it will be the Alabama game because in the off season, first of all, you beat them last year at Cal Field, and then you had the off season where you had some accusations thrown. You had some people saying, you know where to find me, and now they say they cool. Nah, like in the media, it's now so in the media, we know it's going to be hyped up. How is it like on how you think it's going to be like around campus? Is that like the game that you guys are looking forward to?
Oh, for sure. We I have tremendous amount of respect for Nick Saban as a head coach. He's the best college coach to ever do it. I mean, a lot of people think that what he said was calculated and meant to stir up his boosters, and with the class they've got in now, maybe that's the case. But I don't think he meant for that to get out. I think he was just trying to get his boosters to open up their pocketbooks a little more so they could compete in the NIL era. Because, I mean, frankly, I don't think the accusations made against A&M are entirely true. But I think if we wanted to open up our pocketbooks, we could be major spenders in the NIL era.
My thing with the comments was about paying the players to come or whatever. Like, to me, personally, there isn't an NIL deal outside of maybe Dr. Pepper for DJ Uiagalelei that didn't just pay this kid because they're at a particular school. So whether it's true or not, I just like, okay, well, they didn't break any rules. Now the NIL is here. So, I mean, it's whatever. But I think, like you said, it was kind of a ploy to say, hey, look at what Texas A&M doing. We need to pony up some of the dollars. But in the NIL game, I don't think you're going to be messing with. Hey, when it comes to Texas and Texas A&M, man, that's a lot of money. So,
hey, man, why do you think gas prices are so high now?
Exactly. On that back half of the schedule, man, you guys got, like you said, at South Carolina. They're going to be. I got a friend who's a diehard South Carolina fan. He's like, we're going to beat Texas A&M. I was like, bro, y'all haven't beaten them 8 straight times since they've been in the SEC. But it's a lot of hype going around. He's got the fan base. Beamer's got the fan base, rejuvenated or whatever. And
I love Beamer. I love him.
That 4-game stretch isn't like a cakewalk. At South Carolina, then you come back home and you get Ole Miss, Florida, and then Auburn. So do you think there's a scenario where you guys could be better, but the overall record is the same?
I could see that because, I mean, having been an Aggie fan all my life, I've dealt with that a lot. Because, I mean, the SEC ain't no cakewalk, and you get some of these years. I mean, take 2019 for example, where we played, where all 5 of our losses came to top 10 teams. It was just insane.
It's a gauntlet.
But I do think, I mean, taking a look back to last year, we beat South Carolina by 30 points. And they had 20 total yards by the end of the third quarter. I don't think they got 30 points better this year. I think that'll be a bit more of it'll be a tougher battle, but I'm not sold on Spencer Rattler like a lot of other people are.
Gotcha.
And a lot of people love him, and that's fine. He was an extremely hyped recruit, and his first year at Oklahoma, he was very successful, obviously, winning the conference championship over there. But last year, he got benched against Kansas. So, I mean,
not for nothing. For all those watching, Caleb Williams didn't play that great against Kansas.
I don't know. I think Lincoln Riley had already sort of been in contact by then. But besides the point, that game in particular, that's probably, even though it's on the back end of a very tough road schedule, I do feel a lot better about that game than I think a lot of people feel that we'll do.
Well, you get an off week, and they get an off week. Both of you guys are off, so even though it is on the road, you still get an off week. Anytime you're playing a decent, SEC opponent, conference opponent for anybody, actually, you coming off an off week is a little bit better. Ole Miss, you guys have not had a lot of trouble with overall as far as winning the game. But you got Ole Miss, Florida, and Auburn. That's rough. That's why I say you guys got a 4-game stretch, then an off week, then a 4-game stretch, and then UMass. So kind of like an all week.
A little bit of a break.
Yeah. The classic FCS opponent for the SEC. We strategically planned those for everybody watching.
Yeah. Hey, FCS schools got to make their money too.
That's right, man. And what's funny is I live here in South Carolina, and of course this is SEC and ACC country, so we hear a lot of ACC fans like, it's the typical cakewalk for the SEC. I'm like, well, ACC schools schedule all their cakewalks at the beginning of the season so they can try to get ready to get some practice. So I'm like, both strategies are good for the team. So I don't know what the problem is. You know what I'm saying? So. And then you finish the season with LSU. So, and that's always
right.
Honestly, it doesn't matter who's the better team. That's normally a toss-up.
Yeah. And now, for what it's worth, in the past 4 matchups, the home team has won every game. And now, obviously, the first of those 4 being the 74-72 game that ruined overtime for everybody.
I was about to say to change overtime forever.
Yeah, and then the 2019 was Joe Burrow just absolutely massacring everybody. Yeah. I don't know if there was anybody that was going to win against them at that point in the season. And then last year, 2 years ago, then you had the COVID year, and we played them at home, and I was at that game. It was a very cold, very wet game. It was just
that's always.
And then last year.
Barely. It was a close game, but
a couple calls go the other way. Yeah,
I went into that game thinking you guys were gonna win, but one thing about LSU, regardless of their record, always has talent because of the state of Louisiana has talent. So,
and it was Edo's last regular season game. They were playing to get bowl eligible. They had a little extra to play for, and Zach Calzada had. I don't know if he'd already thrown in the towel, but I'm pretty sure he knew he was going to transfer by then.
Yeah.
And, so I mean, what are you going to do?
Such as college life, man. So okay, look, we got to get to some predictions here, man. You guys have a tough schedule. Let's just that's needless to say.
Yeah.
So we'll go through and we'll do kind of like a win total, kind of like Vegas. I want you to tell me, we'll do a point for a win, and we'll do a half for a toss-up, and then we'll do no points for a game that you think is a loss.
Okay.
So, of course, we're going to go ahead and say a point for Sam Houston.
Yep.
And then App State, you got as a win. And then Miami.
I got that as a win.
All right. You got Arkansas.
I also got that as a win.
Mississippi State.
That's a win.
All right, at Bama.
I'll take a loss there.
All right, and then you got an off week, and then you travel to Columbia, South Carolina, take on Beamer.
I feel good about that one. I feel pretty good about that one coming off the off week.
All right, then you got Ole Miss at home.
Yeah.
They're breaking in a new quarterback, Jackson Dart from USC.
They also have a new quarterback.
New OC.
A new defensive coordinator. We took theirs, and we're playing them at home. First home game in a month and a half. I'd lean to giving us a win, but I'll mark that down as a toss-up.
Okay. All right. I think that's good. I kind of trust Lane Kiffin to get his quarterback ready, especially that's like game 7. So I think he'll have something going by then. Then you get Florida at home.
I feel good about that one. Billy Napier, great coach. First year, they're not there yet.
I got you. I'm with you on that same sentiment. Then you got to go to Auburn. Brian Harsin hasn't had the easiest road since he got down there at Auburn, Alabama, and then they have a good running back, but they're also
they do. Tank Bigsby is one of the best in the league.
That's right. They got your old quarterback.
Yeah. Now, all due respect to Zach Calzada, if he was still here, he'd be the 4th best quarterback on the roster. In my opinion. Now that's probably homer bias because I just got frustrated over him every game except the Alabama game where he played like Johnny Manziel. But
exactly. I think a lot of people inside and outside of the Aggie program might agree with you on Zach Calzada.
Yeah. I think he's going to win the starting job over there.
Okay. Well, TJ Finley just got arrested, so that didn't help.
Yeah, but I think that's going to blow over. That was for like not wearing a helmet while riding a moped or something. But it's stupid. Almost as dumb as the College Station Police Department, but we're not going to talk about that.
Listen, man, I'm a UGA grad. Athens Police Department is our biggest rival for the football team.
Oh yeah, I feel that, man. But that Auburn game, I don't even know if Brian Harsin's going to be the head coach.
I don't think so.
That week,
they have a hard schedule.
Yeah, I feel for him, man. He got screwed over. He walked into just a terrible situation with the boosters. Half of them were already against him when he got there. But, yeah, I'm going to mark that down as a win.
All right, and then you got UMass. That's a dub. And then we finished Thanksgiving weekend, finished the regular season at home versus LSU, which you pointed out that the last 4 meetings, the home team has won.
Yes, and so, I mean, Brian Kelly, I don't like that hire as much as the other hires that were made that are on our schedule. I don't think he's that great of a culture fit.
Interesting. Okay.
He's a good coach. But I don't know. I'd probably mark that one down as a toss-up because it's toward the end of the season. He's given us. He's gonna have his team ready. I think.
I think so too.
I'd still give us the edge. If I had to pick win or lose, because playing at home against first-year head coach, I don't really know what their quarterback situation is like.
They got it was so much of a carousel with. Let me see who LSU got, but Vegas is giving you guys a win total of 7.
7.
Yeah. So right now, if we go with the toss-up against LSU, then you guys win total at 10. There'll be half a game, a win against LSU, half against
Ole Miss, right?
Ole Miss, a loss to Alabama, and a win everywhere else. Miles Brennan is still there. So, I mean, he played some last year too. So, we'll see how it goes. I think Brian Kelly is not as the best likable guy, but I do think Brian Kelly knows football.
For sure.
So by then, one thing he does know how to do is he knows how to tailor his game plan for the opponent. And I don't foresee him getting blown out anytime. I think that game's a toss-up, and because it's at Kyle Field, of course, you guys probably will be favored in that game unless something goes really wrong. Looking at the schedule, let's kind of see where they may think that 7 is low. That's lower than the normal 8 and 4. Okay, so let's just say, and a lot of this has to do with whether or not you guys stay healthy at quarterback as well. because there's not a lot of experience there.
Mhm.
If Max Johnson goes down, there's little to no experience there.
Yes. Yeah.
So I guess I could see. Of course, I think they got a loss for Bama.
Hmm. They probably have us marked down as a loss for Arkansas. That's the popular pick right now.
Yeah, I was about to say a loss for Arkansas. I could see a half for the Ole Miss, like you said. Half for LSU.
They'll probably give a half for that South Carolina game too. They're pretty high on.
I'm just
on
looking.
him.
It has to be down at 7 without saying you're losing to a lot of teams. I think they're giving a half for like a lot of games, like Miami.
Yeah, that Miami game. People loving Miami right now.
Yeah, Miami, Arkansas, Mississippi State, because they beat you guys last year
Mhm.
and they returned. They got one of the better quarterbacks in the league.
Oh, yeah.
I would say. Ole Miss, like you said, South Carolina because of the momentum. Like again, I like Shane Beamer. He's definitely. I'm telling you, here in South Carolina, man, they's like comparing him to Dabo and.
Hey,
listen,
let's slow down on that.
Listen. All the off season is great, but until you can do it on the field, then it it's just a lot of off season stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that has to be it. Like half has to be a half against Auburn too. I mean, I can't see them outright saying, "Oh, they're going to lose to Auburn. They're going to lose to Ole Miss." You know what I'm saying? They're going to lose to South Carolina. So it takes 6 halves to make 3 losses. So
yeah, and then you got the Alabama game marked down as a loss, and then
So I think they would probably have the Alabama game as a loss.
Yeah.
And then maybe the Arkansas game as a loss, and then a whole bunch of halves probably.
Yeah.
But I think I'm in the 8-4, 9-3 range just because the schedule. Like even if you're better than the team that you're playing that week, sometimes where the game falls. Like I think the South Carolina game won't be as close as some might think because it's coming off of an off week. Even though they're good off of off weeks, they normally don't play Power 5 opponents after their off week. You know what I'm saying? So I think Jimbo top to bottom will have more talent. And like you said, you guys beat them by 30 last year. I know you guys lost some pieces. They lost some pieces. I think Spencer Rattler is probably one of the better quarterbacks to ever play at South Carolina. But that's not saying a lot when you're talking about passing because it's like, Garcia.
They had a graduate assistant at their quarterback.
That's what I'm saying. You got Tannehill, Garcia, and Connor Shaw, and that's pretty much it. You know what I'm saying? So, and all of those guys, out of all those guys, Tannehill was probably the better passer. So to say he's the best passing quarterback, to possibly ever play, it's not saying that he's, Bryce Young or anything. So.
Right.
But I definitely could see you guys, like I say, being a better team, heading in the right direction, but still being 8-4 or 9-3. Just depends on health and what the other teams are looking like. So So,
realistically, I'd be happy with 9-3 plus a bowl game to get us to 10 wins.
Okay.
I think our floor is down around about 8 wins.
Okay.
But I think the expectation right now is 10 or 11 wins in the regular season.
Okay,
and
cool.
Competing for that and earning that New Year's 6 bid behind the presumed SEC champion who would make the playoff.
Yeah. I was about to say, I mean, if you guys are 9-3, just depends on, outside of if the losses is to Bama and just depends on who the other 2 losses are to.
Yeah.
You don't want to lose to App State, even though what's funny is playing at App State is a lose-lose for a Power 5 because everybody knows how good App State is, but it's still, a group of 5 teams. So if you lose to them, then that doesn't work in your favor. So I could definitely see that. I think, you guys will make it to a bowl game. Hopefully, no COVID things happen or whatever. And you get to actually play. So I was going to ask you, what you feel like would be a good season and not have people talking about Jimbo. And, the first thing they say when you guys lose is how much money you paid Jimbo.
Yeah. And look, I mean, we have a lot of money, and we have not had a coach that we feel this secure about probably since R.C. Slocum.
That's big time. That's big time.
And I know that's saying a lot, But I mean, you got to think. You had Francione. Who do we have after that?
They start running together, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Life as an A&M fan. And then we had Sumlin, who I think if we had anybody but Sumlin as the head coach, we might have won the national championship. Johnny Football's first year.
So Sumlin's not a popular guy around College Station, huh?
He's a great guy. Fantastic guy, but after that UCLA game, we were ready to leave him on the tarmac in Los Angeles.
Hey, understandable, man, especially when you got a Heisman Trophy winner. So
yeah, man, that was just brutal.
Hey, I definitely understand, man. So I appreciate you coming on, Wyatt, man, giving us a student perspective from Texas A&M, man, and how it is and what the expectations are like there in College Station, man. Listen, good luck on the year academically, man.
Thank you.
Nuclear engineer, that can't be a easy thing to tackle. So, but anytime you want to come back on and talk some Texas A&M Aggie football, man, we're down to have you, man. So maybe we'll get you on after that South Carolina game to see what the feeling is there in College Station.
Maybe.
All right, man. For Wyatt, Wyatt is a contributor again for Sideline Sports, Texas A&M. You can find him on Twitter. All of that information will be in the description. A&M fans, if you agree with Wyatt or disagree, let us know down in the comments. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. For Wyatt Spivey, this is Coach I, the Fan Addict.
We got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound, let's go eat. Turn on the Fan Addict, let's have a debate. Who really hold down the Southeast from state to state? What team hungry gonna eat everything up off they plate?